Hi guys, I'm back, all beautified. It's been a very, very hectic few days. Um, Welcome to the channel. If you're just joining for the first time, new subscribers, welcome, welcome. If you don't know, I'm in the middle of meeting my mother-in-law, future mother-in-law for the first time next week, and I'm terrified. I've literally just done a crazy maintenance week. I've just gone and done my hair, and this hair cost me, God knows, it cost me like, would I say almost $300 or $400? I don't know. In pounds, I think it's like 200 and something pounds it cost me. Then my nails, I've just done my nails. I've just bought a whole new dress. Guys, I got a whole new dress. I got heels. I got heels. It's that deep. To impress mama. So it's been a lot. It's been like a good £500 on maintenance just this week. It's mad. And another thing, I also got a new camera. So my trusty Kodak. So now I'm going to be able to do vlogs properly, because the whole point of me doing YouTube was to like do vlogs properly and, you know, develop my video editing skills, because I really want that. I want that as a good skill that I have. So yeah, now I can do vlogs properly, which is going to be good, because since there's a lot of traveling coming up in the next couple of months, and yeah, we've booked our ticket, we've booked our flights. And also guys, I look crusty. My makeup looks messed up because we just came back from a ring viewing appointment. We went to Beaverbrooks to view rings, and it was wonderful. G was really happy. He was smiling. I'm gonna do a vlog on this, so you're gonna see it. It's gonna drop right after this one. G was really happy. He was smiling, and we had like lots of tryouts, and they were really nice. They gave us like coffee and stuff, like really fancy coffee. It was lovely. It was lovely. Guys, I'm excited. It's gonna be a great vlog. So yeah, today, now that I've given you guys the rundown, because you know I always have to do that at the beginning of the video, right? I'm gonna have to give you guys a rundown. Now that I've done this, I want to talk about pretty privilege today. Stupid ass pretty privilege, useless ass pretty privilege. I want to talk about that today. That's what we're going to talk about. So what is pretty privilege? Essentially, pretty privilege is a beauty bias that exists, that basically says that people that are more conventionally attractive are treated better in life, end up being paid more, get more access to opportunities, resources, and just overall are treated better by people in general. So why is pretty privilege toxic? Because essentially you have pros and cons for both sides. You've got the fact that a lot of people say that unconventionally attractive people, or people who aren't seen as conventionally attractive, are treated worse. They're not given access to jobs, to roles in society. They're not given access to dating options, and they're not given access to employment options, or just being able to make friendships in general. Sometimes even treated by family members, or just random people on the street. And then also, there's also a con list for even the people who are conventionally attractive, in that many conventionally attractive people also face issues where they're not able to make friends properly, because they're not sure if people really like them for who they are or just what they look like. They're also preyed on a lot because, essentially they're viewed as beautiful. So people are always looking to be around them, and not always, the people that are around them aren't always the best people. And then on top of that, a lot of them also report feeling lonely, essentially because obviously you're not able to know who to trust and make genuine connections. You end up actually more alone than if you were just not seen as amazingly conventionally attractive, or just seen as average. So yeah, those are some of the pros and cons. So I want to talk about a little bit about why pretty privilege is trash, or in my opinion, why I don't really give a shit about pretty privilege. In my opinion, blah, blah, blah. Don't know what I just said. I don't care about pretty privilege, essentially. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience as someone who wasn't really the best looking when I was younger, and I didn't really care either. And who obviously, if you watch my previous videos, I've spoken about how difficult life was for me in boarding school. I wasn't really interested in guys when I was a teenager, just because my boarding school experience was so tough. I was just so focused on trying to survive boarding school. I really didn't care about the opposite gender. I had no interest. And on top of that, how life has changed for me ever since, I've changed as a person, but how I believe that that's not necessarily related to the outside. It's more related to how I've changed inside. So yeah, guys, you all know that when I was 14, I spoke a lot about this in my previous videos. I used to put pegs on my nose and do some crazy stuff because I used to watch stupid videos like stupid Victoria's Secret craps and all of that stuff. And I believed that I had to be really, really, really thin, and I had to have a really ridiculously straight nose and all of that crap that they tell you about. And obviously, I was actually really quite fortunate because I was quite lazy in my endeavors. I know that a lot of other people are really like intense, even at a young age, when it comes to, trying to pursue beauty standards. But I was not interested too much. I think the most severe thing I ever did was put a peg in my nose, and that was it. And I soon stopped that afterwards because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, literally. So, I had to stop that. So yeah, but essentially I struggled with how I looked, and obviously I was 14. Most people struggle at that age anyway. And essentially I found that when I came back to the UK, because obviously I was in boarding school in Nigeria, when I came back to the UK, that I'd started changing in the way I looked. All the stuff that I was stressing myself out over, bad skin, and I still do get breakouts from time to time. You see it in my videos. I come on sometimes and I get, hormone acne during my period or whatever. But I had like severe breakouts when I was 14. I mean, my whole face was like noughts and crosses. It was bad. My face was like noughts and crosses. But I just realized that all the things that I was experiencing when I was 14 just stopped around the time that I essentially came back to the UK and I started really getting a bit older. And then I realized that I looked completely different from the time I was like 17 to between the time I was like 14 to 17. My face and body just changed so much. I look at pictures of myself and it's incredible. My nose, actually, I used to think my nose was huge for my face, and now I can see it fits me perfectly because I grew. I grew up. And I think a lot of people who are struggling with their appearance don't actually realize that you will grow and your face and your body will change, and there's no need to do anything as drastic as plastic surgery or change yourself in any way. And then on top of that, the differences I experienced as I grew into myself, but it wasn't just my facial features or my body, it was my style, it was my confidence, it was who I felt I was becoming. It was the confidence that I gained from being able to go out, take care of myself, start dreaming about what I want, start thinking about what I wanted for myself. I think that had a major effect on me, way more than appearance and way more than why I experienced puberty change, puberty wise. Because back then, my nose was actually a lot bigger than it is now. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but it just changed. I would say that my nose is still bigger, but it just fits me perfectly. It fits me, and I enjoy my face. I enjoy how I look. Like I enjoy how I look. I don't have a problem with how I look. And honestly, I found that I had more options. Yes, obviously you guys know I spoke about my dating options, about sorry, I don't know what happened there. Actually, that wasn't the first time I had been on a dating app. I had been on a dating app. The first ever time I went on a dating app was when I was maybe like 19, 20-ish, and I met my first ever partner. Well, actually, he was like my first serious boyfriend, like long-term boyfriend, yes. And it was weird and it was bizarre for me because I didn't realize how much people were interested in me until I actually did that. I didn't realize how many people were interested in me, and I started getting interest from men and women, and I was like, oh wow, actually, people find me attractive. This is strange, because I didn't care about all of that. You guys, you don't understand. If you're going to a boarding school in Nigeria, like there's so much more to worry about than there's so much more to worry about, believe me. And my boarding school was run by priests and nuns. So that should give you an example, that should give you an idea of just how much you do not care about that stuff when you're there. And essentially, I just realized that I started getting a lot more attention, a lot more stuff coming my way. I was getting people offering me jobs. I was getting guys offering me free things. Like I've had literally clubs offer me a free table. I've had guys come and offer me free tickets to concerts, literally buy me free handbags, buy me, buy me tons of just stuff, like even designer bags, offer to fly me out, guys that have paid for my hotel. I don't even know who these people are. But I just realized that none of that was really what made me feel better. What made me feel better, I think, and what made me happier wasn't necessarily the change in my appearance, but how I felt about myself on the inside. I actually accept myself for who I am. I'm okay with who I am. Like, I have no problem with who I am. Maybe other people have problems with who I am, but that's not my problem. I have no problem with who I am. And I started to really enjoy myself, enjoy where I come from, enjoy my heritage, enjoy who I am. Going to boarding school was a very important part of me doing this journey because essentially I really wouldn't have become a confident person if I didn't find out where I come from. And I think this is a lot of problem that black women face actually. A lot of black women don't actually know where they come from. You're just stuck in a European culture and you have no clue about your heritage or your past or your parents' heritage or where they came from. And you haven't taken the time to find out. So you're literally just stuck in the only culture you know. For me, I don't really care about Western culture, European culture, because I have my culture. I know where I come from. I have my parents' culture. I follow that. And that is what I, identify with most. So yeah, I think that really helped me. Knowing who I am, knowing where I came from, and just the change in my confidence and my ability to take care of myself and to know what I wanted, to know how I wanted to look, the kind of people I wanted to be around, the kind of person I wanted to be, that really helped. Also, you know, a lot of people think that pretty privilege suddenly means that you will, and I've said this several times, pretty privilege does not mean that you are going to have a fantastic life. It just means you are going to have access to certain things. That's why I think it's trash because it doesn't guarantee you happiness. Yes, you may get more things than certain other people, but that doesn't mean that you're going to end up happy overall. Okay, let's look at it. Look at how many celebrities that are beautiful have literally killed themselves or overdosed or are literally having a mental breakdown. Look at Amanda Bynes. She was literally suffering from a mental breakdown that was publicized nationally, not just in America, but literally across like several countries. Look at other amazing artists like Heath Ledger. He was considered quite handsome, and what happened? He literally died of an overdose. Being good looking or being conventionally attractive does not mean you will end up happy. And I need people to understand this very well. It does not mean, it just means that you may gain access to certain things, but that does not guarantee happiness. You have to really work hard on your internal self. And guys, it is not easy. I don't really care about being conventionally attractive. I don't care. I would consider myself unconventionally attractive. I would say that I'm attractive without having to conform to any stupid standards, because I wouldn't say I conform to any Western ideals, but I'm still attractive and I still had tons of attention. And I'm very fortunate that I found someone that I love quite early, I would say, who loves me and who wants to, take that next step with me into marriage and whatever. But I think a lot of people don't realize, and this is where they miss the trick. This is where they miss the trick, that pretty privilege does not necessarily also mean that the opportunities that come your way are the best opportunities for you. It just means you get access to more opportunities, not necessarily that you should take them. That's what it means. You have to also develop discernment in deciding what opportunities you take and what you don't take. Actually, I considered myself, I considered, I think I was much more creative actually when I was going through that stage when I was 14, because I just had so much time to think. And I think a lot of people don't understand how difficult, you know, it is when you are going through that puberty stage and you don't really know who you are, and where you don't really know you don't really understand what you look like, what you look like is not making sense, and you're seeing all these images bombarding in front of you. And I think as a black woman, or I'm speaking to black women, but in general as a woman, when you haven't developed your own mind, it's very easy to become engulfed by all the standards and all the images that you see, especially if the images don't look like you. That can be difficult. And like I said previously, if you haven't discovered your heritage or where you come from, you might think that that's all there is to, life, and all there is to appearances and stuff like that. And that's obviously, it's not true. It's not true, my dear. It's not true. So yeah, definitely that was an eye-opener. But pretty privilege is toxic. I do not subscribe to this ideal. I do not like it. It's not something I'm interested in. I would never identify myself with this, even though I probably have experienced this several-fold. I probably have experienced this pretty privilege several-fold, but I do not subscribe to it. Why? Because it's subjective. Even if you call yourself pretty, someone else will still say you're not pretty. So how do you actually know you have it? Okay, yes, of course, you can be treated very well across the board, but at the same time, that, like I said previously, being treated well doesn't mean you're going to end up happy. There are so many people that have been treated well that still end up killing themselves, jumping off bridges, look at the Miss, I can't remember that, was it a Miss America or something, that she jumped off a roof of a building and died, and in her note, I can't remember, but I will link the story. I can't remember it specifically, so if I've got it wrong, apologies. But she jumped off the roof of a building, and she was talking about how lonely she was, and she was considered incredibly beautiful. She was talking about how lonely she was, and this is what I mean. Like, it's not, and I've said this previously, being beautiful, being seen as beautiful or attractive is not going to release you from the panopticon of human suffering. You are going to experience suffering just like everybody else, maybe in a different way, but you should not be putting too much stock in beauty. No, there is so much more that you can do, and so much more that you can use your brain and use your body to do. And I think it's just one facet of life. It's an important facet, but it's just one facet of life. There's so many different components that come together to actually make a somewhat content life, because I don't believe you can be happy consistently all the time. I believe you can be very content, which is a happiness within itself. But euphoria, that is something that I think isn't experienced constantly. I think it has its highs and its lows. So yeah, it's definitely, for me, I do not like the idea of pretty privilege. I do not subscribe to it. I think it's trash, and I don't necessarily think it will help you even if you experience it. And I also believe that a lot of people are waiting for someone to tell them that they have pretty privilege, or they're like hoping someone will tell them, yes, you do. You don't need to be worrying about that or hoping about that. Like that's not important, in my opinion. And like I said, everything I say in this video is my opinion, unless I actually link articles in the description video, or the description of the video. But essentially, yeah, pretty privilege is toxic. And a lot of it is also rooted in white supremacy, white beauty ideals, which I don't find interesting, or, I'm not obligated to find it interesting either. I think a lot of people of color a lot of black women, a lot of black men, they feel obligated to follow these. Nobody told you you need to follow these standards. They feel obligated, and you really don't have to. You get in touch with your heritage and know where you come from, and you'll find that actually resonates with you a lot more than trying to stick with an ideal that has literally nothing to do with you and does not actually uplift you in any way. And you see, even other white people struggle to adhere to the European standards. Even other Europeans struggle to adhere to the Western ideal. So yeah, it's definitely not something that I think, anyone should take seriously. I definitely believe that with pretty privilege, it's a bit of a waste of time, because a lot of people spend their lives aspiring, doing so much plastic surgery, doing so much makeup classes, and buying so much makeup, and wearing waist trainers, and learning how to talk to people, and learning how to do this, and dating and all that, and in a desperate hope that it will get them the outcomes that they're looking for. And a lot of the time it actually does not. A lot of the time people still struggle, people are still, this toxic obsession with your appearance is incredibly dangerous, because what happens is you devalue every other part of yourself and focus fully on this part of your appearance, and you use that as an excuse for why you're not doing well in life, or as an excuse for why you've not gotten where you want to get to. But actually, your toxic obsession with focusing on how you look has destroyed any chance of you being able to build any other part of yourself that would actually contribute towards actual happiness. I think this is a major problem with pretty privilege. When you focus so much on the outside and the appearance, you really don't have time to, and you really need to do this, because we all get old, and we get old quickly. Like, you don't even understand how quickly you get old. And you really need to make sure that people can stand to be around you for more than 5 minutes without, without being focused on your looks. Because otherwise, look, literally, pretty privilege, like I said, it doesn't stop you from being used. Look at what happened to Susie Perez. Wasn't she like a very beautiful model in the 90s, and now she's homeless on the street, literally so emaciated, a drug addict. So it's not the be all and end all. It's really, for me, it's really just trash and not important at all. But would you say that some of what I'm saying is a bit iffy, because obviously I've experienced quite a bit of it? Yes, but that doesn't mean I can't see through it. I can see through it, and I can see that it's not important. It's not the most important thing. Definitely, speaking as someone who went from one opposite end to the other, yeah, it's definitely something I believe that a lot of people put way too much stock in. And I think it's become very popular on social media, on apps like TikTok and YouTube. But we should be thinking about our happiness, our self-development. I know I am, rather than pretty privilege. I think this is all a quest just to get money at the end of the day. The privilege is using your beauty to get money. That's it. It's as simple as that. Or get access to resources. So if women had more access to resources in general, maybe they wouldn't be so worried about being pretty to get resources. Maybe we should try and get resources in general, more resources, so we wouldn't have to worry about, because this is one of the main reasons why women are, I think, worried so much about looking pretty, being able to attract someone that will take care of you, or being able to, get access into places where you can actually build some sort of resource. This is it. This is the reason why. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this, guys. I am going to go. I'm going to set up my camera. The next vlog is not going to be with the camera. Sorry. I think the vlog after that, I'm going to drop an engagement ring shopping vlog, because we're doing wedding plannings right now. But the next vlog will not be about that. It will not be with the camera. The vlog after that will be with the camera. You need to give me some time, man. Let me work out how to use this goddamn thing. Okay. Thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to make sure that my videos never go past 40 minutes because I know that people are busy, and even me, I'm busy as hell. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the people that subscribe and that watch the videos and like. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. I'll see you when I see you. I'm gonna say goodbye in Igbo. Kachifo, kachifo, kachifo. Bye guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.